Okay.
Okay.
This is what happens when the green screen doesn't work. Anyway, so I just want to thank everybody for their forbearance. We had a very, very quick flip over from the previous session. So I'd now like to hand it over to Maz and Achi, who are going to run the NOG reports. Over to you guys.
Thank you very much. So this is a NOG update. Each NOG has about 5 minutes or less, because we have 13 or 14 NOGs here. So first up is BD NOG. Papu, are you ready?
Yeah, Evan, I think so. Yeah, let me share my screen quickly over here. And right, okay. Can you see my screen? Maybe too many people
Yes.
over here. Yeah, cool. Hello, everyone. So my name is Fakrul Alam, also known as Papu. I'm part of the BDNOG EC committee looking after the secretariat at the moment. So I'll quickly go through the update we have for BDNOG. So little bit of background we have. So it's a not-for-profit volunteer basis at the moment. No other magic behind the BDNOG. It's kind of same we have with the other NOGs, right? Same passion, build based on the same principle, but we have a trustee as a BDNOG, then trustee nominate EC to run the BDNOG for 2 years basis. So, and the EC will decide the day-to-day things need to be done as a NOG, and when and how we do the BDNOG events and so on. So we basically share the same principles, I believe, like other NOGs. Make sure the first one is give a platform to the people of Bangladesh so that they can talk about their IT issues, especially the ISPs and telcos. And as we have our own dialect and on our language, so we facilitate all our local issues in our local language, but based on the audience, sometimes we do an event which we host the people from outside. So it's a mix of English and Bangla. And we always try to promote the local tenant so that they can come and speak, and they can use this BDNOG as a platform for their day-to-day operation. We founded at 2014, and the things we're doing at the moment is a semi-annual event. So we do 2 events per year, and the idea is doing 1 event in Dhaka, which is the capital of Bangladesh, and the other events we rotate it across the country. So we go north, south, east, west, and we figure out what's the best possible location to do that. The format of the events, we have gone through a couple of variation, but the things we're trying to stick at the moment is a 4 days or 3.5 days workshops, depending and multiple tracks depending on the location and the participation. And we do 1 or 2 days conference. When we do the events in Dhaka capital, sometimes we try to accommodate tutor also. So the workshops are pretty common like other NOCs, IPv4, IPv6, all the routing stuff. We talk about MPLS, BGP, security is very common nowadays. And we try to accommodate like other new technology like IP telephony, cloud computing, Linux, for the people who are joining to this NOC. So the topics are open. So we try EC often try among themselves and also in the mailing list and to see what are the common or the interesting topics we can cover. We have a mailing list around 3,500 plus people in part of this mailing list, and like other NOCs, we highly discourage sales and marketing presentation or slides. So we have done so far 12 events. And if you see, as I said, the things at the center is the capital, Dhaka, and we have done so far 12 events. So as I said, like half of 6 of those events happen in Dhaka, and others we try to distribute among other cities like Cox's Bazar, Chittagong, Sylhet, Rajshahi, and Bogra. And these are the few pictures from our conference. So it's highly packed, a lot of energy, and a lot of people joined to this event. In terms of participation, it's kind of an high level, and see how many participation and the participants we have. And if you see all the spikes like video 1, 3 are basically when we are doing it at Capital. So in Dhaka, like others, is always very, very popular. In remote locations, sometimes we need to accommodate and arrange accommodation for the people. So it depending on the participation. So sometimes that's why very low in those other events. The last event we had is BDNOG 12. Due to COVID, we had to do it online. It's a virtual event. So what we did is a 1-day conference and 2 days tutorials. Zoom as a platform, we had around like 350 participants and around 130 plus attendees in the conference. So it was like a 4-hour conference, and we break down the tutorial in 4 hours each day. So it's altogether 8 hours. And the topics is basically we cover up all the technical presentation. We had a panel discussion, very heated one on social CDN business, paid or free. So we discuss on those things. And the tutorials we did on RPKI, DNSSEC, manners, and one of the hands-on tutorial on ELK stacks. Looking forward to the topics we see, as I said, IPv6, security, routing, MPLS is very common in ISPs and telcos, but we see a lot of demand for cloud, network automation, and programmability. And we might accommodate and cater all those in our future BDNOGs. If anyone interested, we have a website, bdnog.org, and we also have the site in our own language in Bangla, so it's a bilingual. You can come and see. We have all the contents over there. We publish all the papers. We try to stream them in YouTube also. And if you want to join our mailing list, please subscribe nog@bdnog.org. Future events. We're trying and planning it for the first week of June 2021. Might be a hybrid one due to the COVID situation. We'll see how it goes. So we're planning to do it and hybrid and on-prem, on-site attendees plus online Zoom. See how it goes, but that's the plan at the moment. And we stick to 3 days event, 1-day conference and 2 days workshop. That's pretty much it. So if anyone interested, we are available everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, Flickr, YouTube, SlideShare, Wiki, whatever you want. But these are the reference link. Come and join. Thank you. Over to you, Maz.
Thank you from BDNOG. Our next presenter is BTNOG. Manoj.
Hi. Am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Let me share my screen.
Okay, thank you.
Can you see the screen? I'm not sure.
It's not yet coming up, but we can see you started sharing. There you go.
Okay. So can I start?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone out there. First of all, I'm Manoj Adhikari. I had the pleasure of serving as the chair of the first ever online BTNOG, Bhutan NOG. Like Mr. Fakhrul from Bangladesh, I'll be concentrating more on BTNOG 7 that we did and not on the past NOGs. So my slide will be on that. So yeah, let's see what we did. So the key points of BTNOG 7, what happened and how we did it, all in short. So we did it on 18th October 2020, the online event. If not for the pandemic, which has affected everyone, it would have been held in Bumthang, Bhutan, which happens to be what we call it as the Switzerland of Bhutan. And the date plan was first week of June 2020, but unfortunately we could not do so. We did it only conference. Yes, why only conference? I will come to that. And the platform we did it was on Zoom, and the Zoom was supported by APNIC. So why we chose to do conference? I'm sure our friends all out here will agree that having an online attendee for tutorial is a tough ask. So we thought we'll do away with the tutorial and we'll just do a conference, which is going to be effective, and half-day conference we did. And further, we are also not equipped to have our own virtual labs. So that was one of the reasons. And also, we had to reschedule from June to October. So the APNIC and NSRC resources dates were not available. So that's why we chose to do only conference. So, what were the achievements of BTNOG 7? We had 100+ people attending the conference in full. I'll repeat, in full, everyone attended. And conference contents were relevant to Bhutan. It was like not only to ISP and telcos, but it also covered the email security and all. And the event went through like a nice through a butter. And we also awarded prizes. And what I forgot to mention out here was we did a panel discussion on how to take internet to the last mile, how to deliver it to the people even in the remotest part. So it was, we had people from all the telcos, government, and everyone. We had a healthy discussion. So everyone enjoyed that part as well. And if I have to give you a graph of what we did is like, if we ignore what Bhutan, if you ignore the big bar from Bhutan, we saw that we have people interested in Bhutan, not only if, I mean, for being BTNOG 7 was being conducted online, right? So even though it was online, we had people all the way from Australia, Bangladesh, India, Nepal, Mongolia, PNG, everyone, they were attending. So it was encouraging for us. That gave us a confidence. Even if we are not able to do it physically, people were still interested. And also from the total, we had 32 female participants and 110 were male and 23% of female to our women in ICT. So that is also an achievement we feel. And this is a very interesting graph we wanted to highlight. Is like, if you ignore again the Thimphu, which is also the capital of Thimphu, I mean Bhutan, we had people participating from a remotest part of the country as well, even from like eastern side, like Trashigang, which shares the border with Arunachal Pradesh, and we had different people attending the NOG, which makes us confident that if we take it to a central part of Bhutan, which is Bumthang next year, we will be having a good number of participation in BTNOG 7 with it. And what were the challenges we faced in BTNOG? It's of course like local speakers. There's a lack of local speakers in BTNOG. So we would like to, we wanted to encourage them. We did request them to come forward if they have any experience to share and all. And also taking the news or to the ICT community was a challenge because not everybody follows BTNOG because they have the notion that NOG is for network operators only. So, and also we had minor lapses, though I said we went through like a nice through a butter, but we forgot to collect the feedback, the most important part. So I'm sure we will not repeat that again. So what is the way forward? What will happen in BTNOG 8? So BTNOG 8, I'm sure everyone has the same doubt, whether it's going to be online or whether it's going to be a physical event. So for now, usually we do BTNOG 8 in the first week of June, which looks impossible at the moment because our borders are still closed. So maybe we are going to have it, if physical, maybe in October or November in Bhutan, and we are again going to we are going to try and take the BTNOG 8 to Bumthang. By the way, my virtual background is Paro. So if you can judge from the look of it, so it's going to be a good time, but it totally depends if the event is going to be held in whether it's going to be an online event or if it's going to be a physical event. And also when it comes to sponsor, we did have sponsor a lot of friends who wanted to sponsor our BTNOG 7. But we stuck to the point that we said that if there is not much expenditure, we won't be getting into we won't be requesting for the sponsorship. But what happened was, if we don't take this year, next year they won't be able to provide. So we had this kind of glitches in the system. So we eventually decided that we'll take the sponsorship and we'll use it whenever we can do it physically, or whenever we can do BTNOG physically. physically. And the contents of the BTNOG 8 is going to be either online. If it's online, then again conference maybe. I'm not sure on labs right now, but if it is physical, of course, we'll have conference and the labs. So with this, I hope that the pandemic is like, at least it eases out in this year and we will be able to meet each other physically. So with that, I'd like to thank you all, and it's back to you, Mas.
Thank you very much. We have pretty limited time, so please make your presentation short as possible as you can. And next up is HKNOG.
Hello, this is Welfia. Let me share the PowerPoint.
Yes. So you have about 3 minutes.
It's fine.
Yep.
Okay, I think everyone can see this PowerPoint, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm from Hong Kong NOG, one of the committee member. My name is Welfia. This is my first time to share Hong Kong NOG. I think most of you know that the Hong Kong NOG, because we have presented a few times, we mainly provide and opportunities for the local operators or internet participants. Maybe now the industry will extend to more on cloud security. On those areas, they will come to join and exchange the technical and operation knowledge. And we are also a special interest group under HKISAP. That is an internet group in Hong Kong that will help to set up a forum to exchange the informations or some interest, some governance inside the internet industry in Hong Kong. So usually we will have 2 events per year. But in 2020, because of COVID-19, we actually only have 1 event, but that event is quite successful. You can see our history. We start from 2013, the first one, the HKNOG 0.1, and we have 2 events usually, as I mentioned, and then we come to HKNOG 9.0 in last year, and we are planning for the next one in September. So HKNOG 9.1, HKNOG this one we have a few sponsors, mainly APNIC, HKIX, and uDomain. Usually we have more sponsorship, but in this year we hold this event in a Zoom meeting instead of physical events. We find that it is better to have this arrangement. And we still have a lot of participants. That is around 200 participants, including our speakers and also the program committee. And we have quite a lot of different providers. That is maybe less from overseas, but still have overseas speakers. We have from APNIC, IX, operators, vendors, and we also invite the Hong Kong Tourism Board. They also join us to share some of the information about on their side. But you can see we have a few interesting topics like the IoT, story, routing technology, security, cloud adoption. I think some of you may be interested too about the traffic trending in the region and the cloud adoption influenced by the COVID-19. We try to relate some of the topics to COVID-19 because that really affect us in Hong Kong. And I think also for you guys in around the world. So for Hong Kong Tourism Board, they would just have a they talk about the worst meeting place in Hong Kong. I think it's good because many participants from abroad, they will know better on Hong Kong, then they can think about coming to Hong Kong to hold their events in the future. So I share with you some of the photos that we have our own setup. And maybe you can see them. This is WK. Some of you may know them. Eric Friend, Eric Learn, Robin. We also have 2 MC. Maybe they are new for you, Alice. Yeah. So for then, for these events, this is quite a small room. You see that, but we pack up here, and then we have a quite effective arrangement with some participants, some speakers join us in the venue that is in Wave, one of a meeting place, I can say, or this is a business office, very small, but it's enough for us to set up this environment. You see, we also have speaker from around, from outside Hong Kong, from Taiwan IX, William. So I think you may know them, maybe. Some of the slides we capture, I think is quite interesting. So I pick it. Maybe you will interest on. We talk about the routing and how we achieve a better routing, and we check on the traffic trending, and we also talk about IPv6 and how this the capabilities improved or moving forward. Some of the COVID-19 impacts. So now I also introduced the committee to you. We have quite a lot of people, you see, a long list. I'm here. And I think you know Chiho, Howard, WK, Cams, Ralph, and Eric. They joined a lot for a long time. And we have some sharing and organizations. We sometimes have this kind of gathering to organize the program. Yeah, we share what we have, some brainstorming. Yeah, and then we review the HKNOG. We have good time. So HKNOG 10, this one, we hope that we can have a physical meeting. So we try to arrange it in September. That is a summer time or end of summer in Hong Kong. Hope that the COVID-19 situations are better. So we are planning for it. And please join us. And we want to learn from you, and we want to share what we know about, and of course to exchange more information in the industry. Thank you for your participations here. So this is all my presentation. Don't want to make it too long. If you have questions, you can find me.
Thank you for the presentation. So we go to the next presenter, NOG. Okay.
Hi, G.
Yep.
Good to see you guys after a long time. You know,
Just go ahead and
yeah,
you can share your screen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, hold on. Just a minute. Here. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, please go to interview.
All right. So this is an update on NOG. I'll try to be very brief as possible because it looks like I could hear Maz mentioning that we are overshooting time. So the India NOG, INOG was formed way back in 2018. And till that time, if you see, we were organizing SANOG every year. So because of which we had a lot of, discontent in the region that SANOG is only happening in India and the other regions are not, having their chances to host SANOGs in their economy. So we decided to form INOG in 2017, and the background of INOG is same as other NOGs, that we are it's a platform where we are meeting all the service providers, content players, and the network operators, and we discuss only tech, no sales, nothing, only tech is what we talk in this forum.
Yeah, Pankaj, were you going to go into slideshow mode, please?
I'm sorry, Philip.
It's all right.
Can you see that, please?
Perfect.
Thank you. My apologies. Okay, so on the past events, the first INOG was hosted in August 2018. It was 4-day event, 1-day conference and 3 days workshops, and the usual, the BGP, MPLS, IXPs and security. These are the topics, and we got good support from APNIC and our other, from ICANN and from various internet stakeholders. We had the support, and it was very well organized event in which almost 180, 190 people attended this 4-day event. And the second INOG was in 2019, which was attended by 185 people. Again, it happened in Delhi, and similar background, similar format of 1 day of conference and 3 days of workshops. Due to pandemic, the last year we could not organize the INOG, in person. So we had to do it virtually, and it was a 2 days event, and 175 people attended this event. And again, it was only 1 day's conference, and we did 1 day's tutorials, and it was very well accepted by the community. So in addition to that, because of the pandemic, as you know, that we have not been able to carry out our activities, so we've decided to conduct small workshops on different topics, almost on a month-on-month basis, which is being organized exclusively by INOG, and Anurag, our friend Anurag, is the one who's leading this from the front. So these workshops we've already done, RPKI routing, and the RPKI workshop 2, DNS and Netflix. And later on, just last week, we did a Google workshop wherein teams from Google presented on how the Google caching is done, and it was attended by around 80 people. And we are also about to finalize INOG 4. The dates are being finalized in the month of July. Earlier, we were thinking that we would do an event which will be, physical event. But now what we have seen in India, that the cases of COVID pandemic are rising. So we have decided that we will hold this event only online. And the committee, OC and PC committees are deciding on the dates, and we will surely let everybody know. So this is the organization committee. Rajesh, myself, Sunny, Natasha, and Sushil Kulkarni, we are the part of the organizing committee. And Srinath and Anurag are part of the program committee. So we are at inog.net, and I'm happy to take any questions if anybody wants to ask. Thank you.
Thanks, Pankaj. Let's leave the questions later. Next up, let's call on Mas or Janab.
Okay, this is Matt from Janog. Let's make it brief. So the material is online, so I will skip about Janog and the meeting model. We had the 2 meetings in 2020. The first in July 2020, there was a hybrid event. So we have only a few participants on site, but mostly people joining the meeting virtually. There was 3 days meeting, and the next one is just happening this January. We had about 2,000 registrations. But the peak viewer or the connected client about 800. Right, so that was a 3 days event, and we also had the online netcom event. It's a ICT troubleshooting contest. So we have a bunch of the different network problems, and then people try to solve the issue. We have scheduled future meetings. Next one will be July in Ogaki, and then the next one will be next January in Kagoshima. And we have a new Janog chair, Junpei Yoshino from Mixi. So he's the 7th Janog chair. So that's it.
Thanks, Mas.
So I will call next NOG, Ranka NOG, LK NOG. Are you ready?
Hi everyone, so it's Tirina from LKNOG. So this is the small update from us. for the apricot. And so LKNOG or Lanka Network Operators Group is still a young group within the community, and we started somewhere to 2017, and we only had 3 physical meetings and 1 online meeting this year. So we kept our conferences, everything free of charge for our community, so they can just come and participate. But we had a small filtering process on who's coming and who should not come. So that kept our energy with the conferences, and then we did several tutorials past few years. And regarding this year, so this year we did everything online, actually 2020. So we did everything online, and we were planning to host one of these NOGs on 2020 July, but due to the lockdowns, we couldn't do that. So at the end, we end up with doing it online, doing a single day conference to mark the LKNOG 4. So we had several talks, and then everything were like online and for free for everyone. And this time we couldn't do the participant by being like giving features, so we missed that. Anyhow, we had several talks in the conference, and then we did several focus on the COVID-19 incidents that we had in the community with the network operations, especially with the IX operations, and then things happened with the online teaching and learning processes because everything went online, and we saw a lot of high peaks on that area. So that was the main thing that we did in 2020. And then hopefully on 2021 July, we'll be hosting LKNOG 5, and we are trying to do it in physical format, and we are trying to get it into the SANOG 37 as well. So actually I missed this slide. So this is the participant attendance. You can see the high number of participants in the online meeting in the 2020. So it was like somewhere around 143 compared to the other NOGs. So actually in Sri Lanka, it's a very small community, especially for the network operation. So based on that, the number 100 is a good attendance number. So finally, I'd like to invite everyone for LKNOG 5 and SANOG 37 if you are able to do it physically, otherwise we'll be doing it in the online form. So we'll be inviting you everyone for the Kalam. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to KHNOG.
The speaker hasn't joined us yet, actually, so
Okay.
I would suggest let's move on. We can come back to KHNOG later.
Okay,
Oh,
next will be...
So Warren, are you going to talk on behalf? Okay, let me just deal with this. I'll move Warren up. Warren will talk on behalf of KHNOG.
Okay,
So Warren Finch of APNIC. So he's now joined the panel.
Thank you. Hi, Warren.
Hi, so I'll just share my screen quickly. I'm assuming we're running out of time very quickly, so just let me know when you can share that screen. Has that come through?
Yes.
Okay, so just want to talk about KHNOG, which is Cambodia NOG. They've started in 2019. APNIC did some training there, and that got the community together, and we started talking about running the first conference. There's actually been, the first conference was in person, and obviously, as we all know, the trend was COVID hit, and we went virtual for KHNOG number 2. There is a plan for KHNOG number 3 this year. And the idea was, just like most of the other KHNOGs, the other NOGs, is to have a sharing of technical operational experience and knowledge. And the idea is to build on those skills in the region and to keep the skills local rather than people getting trained and leaving. So the first event was the 4th of November 2019, after the initial concept was raised in March of 2019. It was a one-day event, and there was 170 participants, mixed different industries, banks, ISPs, system integrators, solution providers, universities, and other institutions. It was quite a successful event, and that's why they went through and planned for more events later on. Now, my screen seems to be frozen. Just moving down. So in regards to the event, it was a lot of work by the committee members to arrange that. There was some issues in regards to some of the electricity and getting internet to the venue. So that is some of the problems in regards to the running a live event. But for the virtual event, the advantages of that was anyone could attend from different areas. The idea of the KHNOG virtual event was to introduce the CSIRT and to also focus on more security and convergence with the ISP. And I think that is it. For the plan for the KHNOG 3, we're hoping that it's going to have some topics on DevOps. It's hopefully wanting some people from overseas. So if you're available and you're in the area and it's going to be face-to-face, please submit a paper. The topics they're interested in is DevOps, network security, IPv6 deployment, and best practice. And they're looking at November of 2021. So hopefully everyone's had their jabs, or the travel plans have been, or the borders have been opened so you can attend. If you want to sign up for details, there's a social Facebook website, or there's the website khnog.org.
Thank you very much. Next up is MMNOG, Myanmar NOG.
Masan, thank you. Quickly, everyone, I'm speaking on behalf of Myanmar NOG. As everyone knows, they have bigger problems than APNIC and conference. So my sincere condolences to whatever is happening there. Here is the website. Here is the mailing list. Quickly, I need to move because we have no time. So MNOG 1, 2, and after that, it was stagnant for a while. So that's why when we were there in 2020, with MMIX being set up, we requested if the community would restart, and that's how they restart the MMNOG after 2-3 years gap. So that's how the first revival was MMNOG 3. Attended by about 180 people. A workshop was run, 6 different tutorials, and then it was tied with the MMIX peering forum. So good attendance. And what's unique about Myanmar, which I don't find in any other economies, is the number of female participants and professionals in the industry is never seen as big as we see in Myanmar. So that's something very unique in this whole region. So moving on to MMNOG 4, early this year, the first NOG of the year was actually MMNOG. They ran that as an online session. January this year, we had about 148 people attending the session. And as you can see, quite a diverse group of speakers. And hence the topics were also quite diverse. Here is a quick look at the PC, except for that odd looking guy. Everyone is local PC, so which is also great out there. And one thing very unique during this MMNOG, the online session, was Ms. Kine, the chair of MMNOG. To guarantee some interaction, she suggested some quizzes at the end of every presentation. And there was a prize too for that. And that means people who are listening, people had to pay attention. And this is something that other NOGs who might run online sessions might want to look at. And finally, I wanted to actually let people see this. This is the MMIX traffic for last 7 days. It exactly mirrors the situation that's in Myanmar at the moment, right? 1 a.m. to 9 p.m. internet needs to be shut down. They shut it down. And then it picks up until again, you are mandated to shut it down. And because of all the blockages from the government has mandated that certain CDNs be blocked. By government, I mean the other government at the moment. They have mandated CDNs be blocked, Facebook be blocked. But surprisingly, you see that the traffic is still huge. So I was talking to Ms. Kine over chat, and she was suggesting maybe people are now moving towards some local apps which are locally available, and hence the traffic is still significant over the IX. But I thought this graph actually gives us a mirror of what the situation is in Myanmar. My sincere prayers for the folks in Myanmar. Thank you, Masan.
Thank you, Dashi. Up next is MNOG, Mongolian NOG. Yeah, thank you.
Hello. Hey.
Yep, please go to presenter mode.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, thank you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. My name is Oswald. I'm talk to MNOG update. So MNOG is very young NOG. We established 2019 of the March, and now we are just almost 2 years old. So last couple of years we organized the 2 events. MNOG 1 was the successfully organized September of 2019. That was the including 1-day conference and 5-day workshops, and that was the very great conference, and that was the physical event. So MNOG 2 this year we run the online event, and that's the half-day conference, and participants almost 2,200, and we have 6 technical papers, including 2 keynotes and 1 panel discussions. And panel discussion topic was the network challenges during COVID-19. That was quite interesting for our attendees. And other achievements for MNOG, our routing raw reached to 100 coverage before just MNOG 2, and that's the good collaboration of the MNOG members. So during this event, we faced some issues. So we forgot the recording button at the starting moment, and we lost the opening speech. And that's the bad thing. Actually, that was my speech. So yeah, other minor issues, that was the microphone quality is not good. And so we handed the MNOG hoodies to our participants after the MNOG 2 event, and we handed the 13 hoodies to our participants. So here's the MNOG 3, and we Exact time is not clear yet, and it will be October in this year, and the place is countryside in Mongolia. It will be physical event. So please submit the paper in our immunometry event. Thank you. Great, that's it.
Thank you very much. Yep. So next up is PACNOG. Fred? Wilsborg, can you stop the sharing?
I'm still waiting for the previous presenter to stop the sharing so I can share mine.
Also should stop sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I share mine now? No.
Okay, now you can.
Now I can. Thank you.
Ooh.
So I have two screens. Oh my God. Okay, can you confirm if you are seeing the screen with a PACNOG presentation?
No, we are seeing your desktop.
Oh, you're seeing my desktop, so I'll just have to swap it. So just hold on a second.
You should choose the one that say presentation mode.
Right.
It's a presenter mode. Probably another window or.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see the option in Zoom to show the second screen, but anyway, it's just show here.
On Zoom, you choose the one to share is the slideshow.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
Or I can share on behalf.
Yeah, why not? Can you do that? And
yeah, then please stop the sharing. Then
right.
I will share.
Stop sharing from here.
Yep.
Stop share. There you go. Okay, sorry for that delay, and I'm very pleased to be joining the other NOGs from the region in this session. It's a very important session where we can hear from other NOGs. The Pacific Islands for the PACNOG is coming from the Pacific Island, and I saw there on the map the difference with other NOGs is that we have a big blue continent here with several countries who are members of PACNOG. So in total, we have about 23 countries in the Pacific who come in and join in PACNOG during the events that we organize. Some of the population of those countries average around 500,000. Some will peak to about 1 million. And Papua New Guinea on the left is about 6 million. But otherwise, all the rest are within 10 to 100,000. So you can appreciate the small numbers and the dispersed population in this geography. So that presents a big challenge for us in PACNOG for the travel. And so we find that the richer organizations are the ones who can send the participants. So the COVID gives us a new scenario. So let's go ahead and move to the next slide. Next slide. Yeah. So that's just briefly some general information from us here. I think I need to say here and give acknowledgements to the support that has enabled PACNOG since 2004 when it first started. And I've named them here, namely the organizations from APNIC, ICANN, and the Network Startup Resource Center, and also some individuals like Dr. Philip Savanada over there and Steve Huta, who have been consistently with us from the beginning and supporting us with providing the trainers. And this is exactly what we need in the Pacific Islands, to bring the training to the Pacific Islands. Next slide. Yeah, so far we've had up to 28 PACNOG training events. And training events consist mainly of one-day tutorial and conference where everyone sits together and exchange and tell a story of some of the good things they have and some of the bad things, like, you know, some of the problems they do, and also give us opportunity to hear in the same room things that are quite important for all of us. Then we have 4 days to do hands-on training. So I note the numbers that from other NOGs, you're looking into thousands, but here in the Pacific, we are looking at around 40 to 50 or even 60 attendees from the spread across the Pacific Islands that attend the PACNOG. Of course, the topics would be similar to other NOGs. We, in fact, look at other NOGs and what's popular topics that they have, and with the help of our trainers, we actually put that into our program. Next slide, please. Now, with COVID, that has presented us with a big challenge. At the same time, the migration to online and virtual platform also give us the opportunity to overcome the biggest challenge we have, which is to travel. And so we, without any hesitation, we organized the 2 PACNOG events that we normally do in a year. So we had 2 PACNOG, and I must say that we had overwhelming numbers for that. And that's mainly because there's more easier access for the participants to attend without a travel cost. And sometimes they need approval, you know, on the spending on the travel and the PDM and so. For 2021, we wish to continue the same number of PACNOGs per year and look at or explore how we can bring about some enhancements. Next slide. Yeah, so I have some pros and cons there for the shift to online, and I guess here from the Pacific Islands, we really appreciate not the COVID, but of course the need to go online, and there are some pros that we really like and to keep, and this experience gains from this online virtual interactions is something that we would like to consider for the next training PACNOGs. Next slide. And I've managed to capture some of the pictures, so you can see a lot of smiling faces there and some actions there, but these are all behind the computers. I'll play a video here, a very quick video. Next slide. Yeah, if you can put the sound up. So here's a trainer, you probably all know him. He's Phil from Europe. So he was teaching to us around 2 a.m. in the morning. So you can see that he's like looking sleepy. And I think it's actually what I captured there is the flexibility of having online, where people can put in text to ask questions instead of putting up the hands. In some cases, in our Pacific Island scenario, our delegates are quite shy to ask questions verbally. So this texting is a good thing for us. Something that we want to keep in the next PACNOG. Next slide. Right, so this is where we want to go from here. What do we look forward to in the near future? We hope that traveling is restored, and we have a return of the tourists who actually give us the basis of our economy. In some cases 80%, in some cases to 60%. And for PACNOG to rotate around the islands and experience the different island environments and the uniqueness of different countries and their issues. Of course, we are looking at hybrid sessions, and with the help of our trainers and our partners, we wish to continue PACNOG as an essential service and platform to continue with our training for the Pacific Islands. And I think that's it. I know the time is limited, so if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, we can chat by email. Thank you very much for this opportunity, Matt.
Thank you very much. So we are running out of time, but as the next session is a NOG Both, so we can eat sometime from there. So we are try to continue this session until the end of the update. So next up is PH now.
Thank you. Hold on. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yep, just making sure. So hi, Hachi here from Page Now. Quick update. This is the 4 working group. We were previously 5, so it's 5 plus 1. We added Willa. She is on the top right. So now we more or less have equal diverse in members, gender-wise, 3 ladies and 3 gentlemen. Standard configuration of our conferences. So we normally have 2. We call it major and regional. The major one is normally in Manila, and regional is in the southern part of the Philippines because we are an archipelago. Difference in duration is 5 days versus 3 days. And the major one has the full conference suite, like conference, meeting day, meeting forum, and workshop. Normally, the major is after Apricot, and the regional is mid-July. One difference from other NOGs is we actually have a lot of volunteers in terms of the working group, and it's great. In terms of actual conferences, last year, we were able to pull out 2, and Page NOG Manila right after Apricot is probably one of the last conferences, physical conferences for some of those who attended. And then we pushed through with the regional one, but it's already online. We dubbed it as the first virtual Page NOG sessions. So it came along with networking from home, so within the same week. So we actually adjusted and made it 1 day virtual session and 2 days workshop. These are the actual pictures. So you can see the attendees on the physical and then the virtual. For 2021, what we're having now, so we are supporting Apricot. We did not push through with having a separate Page NOG, so it's embedded within this conference. And then later, towards the year, we're planning also to do another NOGs, but I don't think we will be having a physical event, so it's going to be virtual. We're going to call it Page NOG 2.0. Next year, in case we are all good to meet physically, so everybody's excited. So we're going to push through with Apricot Manila. So we stick with the regular dates on the website, but details are still to be determined. Likewise, towards the middle of the year, we will push through with Page NOG X. X means the 10th straight physical conference of Page NOG. Still question mark, depending on what will happen towards the end of the year or even next year. And that's all for Page NOG. Thank you. Stop share. So I'm gonna announce next. It's gonna be Sanog. Rups.
Hi, good morning. Good afternoon, in fact, and good evening to some.
Rups, can you do the presenter mode?
Just a sec. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see, but it's your edit slide format. It's not there. There you go. Yeah, please go.
Great. So my name is Rupesh Shrestha. I'm a chair of South Asian Network Operators Group. So a quick update on the SANOG scenario so far. I'm sure a lot of people are already aware of SANOG. SANOG is a South Asian Network Operators Group. We started back in 2003, I believe. And we are running the 36th, we just completed our 36th SANOG online last year, 2020. So usually it was an online event from 18th January to 21st January 2021. We had an online SANOG 36. 2020, we had one event in January in Pakistan. And after that, the July SANOG, we could not do it because of the COVID scenario. On the first day, on 18th January, we have around 558 participants. And then after that, the number slowly decreased. But still, I mean, it's good to see that during the tutorial days on 28th and 21st, we still had more than 250 participants. So just to briefly talk about what SANOG is. SANOG is a South Asian Network Operators Group. We do two events we used to do two events every year on January and July. Last year we could do only one. This year we've completed the online one, and most probably in July we're going to Sri Lanka, and hoping that and keeping our fingers crossed that we want to do it, and we probably will do it physical. But let's see, I mean, the scenario. And we'll decide very soon, and we'll be posted on the website very soon. We move around the different South Asian countries, various, except for Maldives and Afghanistan. We've done the South Asian SANOG in various all other countries in Nepal, Bhutan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, to be specific. We have program committee, we have core committee of various dignitaries, and now we have program committee led by our very own Dr. Philip Smith, chaired by Dr. Philip Smith, Simon Baroy, and Tashi Funso co-chairing the program committee, and supported by a lot of program committee members. We have fellowship committee as well, but because of the online event, we could not do the fellowship last year, and this for the online as well. Total events conducted so far, we had 36 events we've already conducted. Two of the events were held together with Apricot, one in India, another one was Nepal, one online. Total 6 countries. We've done the event in 6 countries so far. Total fellowships awarded, 444 people were awarded fellowship during the SANOG, various SANOGs. Total workshop participants, we've trained around 2,813 workshop participants on our network operations, various topics on the network operations. On these are some of the topics that we've covered so far. IPv6, BGP, and routing being the most popular workshop track. 26 times we've done that track. Network security being the second most popular so far. Out of various countries, we've done SANOG in 11 times in India, Nepal 6 times, Bangladesh 5 times, and 4 times each in Bhutan and Sri Lanka. Next SANOG would be in Colombo, as we've discussed, as Tilina has also mentioned, along with NOG and the team over there. We'll be doing the SANOG 36 and hoping that it might be the physical event, and probably some way if we can start with SANOG 37 being a physical event, physical NOG event, it will also help people to get familiar and get comfortable with the event being hosted physically. Thank you very much. I think I've made my time commitment. Thank you very much. If any question, please feel free to ask me. Thank you.
Thank you, Rupesh. Okay, next up is SG NOG. Tang Xiaoyu.
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me try to share my screen right now. So,
yep.
Okay, yeah. So I'll start again. Good afternoon to everybody. Probably good evening, good morning. And this is my home, and I'm here to tell you more about the Singapore Network Operators Group 8th installment of this our next conference that's going to be held on the 30th of July, 2021. So, what did we do last year? I am very sorry to say that we didn't do anything last year due to COVID-19. So the last SG NOG event was SG NOG 7. It was held in 2019 at the One Farrer Hotel. We had 388 registered attendees, 367 who actually attended, and it was a conference with 2 sessions running in parallel. So it was nice because we had 2 ballrooms, so people could attend the sessions that they were interested in. We also had, we oops, I think this thing advanced too quickly. Yeah, sorry. We also had a 2-day hackathon that we organized in partnership with Facebook. 18 persons attended, and also a 1-day Red Hat OpenShift container workshop. So the next event will be SG 8. It was actually originally scheduled as a physical conference that we held on the 24th of July last year at the Raffles City Convention Center. But yeah, it took quite a while for us to decide to actually shift this conference. The reason is because in January and February of last year, Singapore was still pretty much very normal. You could go around Singapore without wearing masks and all. And in fact, it became mandatory only sometime late March, and restrictions started popping up. The government actually started a circuit breaker or some sort of a restricted lockdown in Singapore. So there were limitations of group sizes and social distancing measures and so on. So there was no way for us to react in time. And so we had to pass. And in fact, I guess most of us were busy shopping for instant noodles, ramen, and toilet paper in the supermarket anyway. So there's no time to really do much things else. So this was postponed to 30th of July of this year. So the good thing is that the government has actually, especially the Ministry of Law, has also provided some relief in terms of contractual obligations, because we actually paid the deposit for the venue, which is the Raffles City Convention Center. And the Convention Center management was also graceful enough to allow us to defer for yet another year. So hopefully by 2022, we will be able to hold SG 9 as a physical conference when that happens. So again, SG 8, as mentioned, it will be an online conference that will be held on the 30th of July. So this also again took quite a bit of a challenge for us, because we had very high hopes that we'll be able to do a physical event. The reason is because Singapore is organizing the World Economic Forum on August. So we thought that, hey, if the government can do the World Economic Forum, I'm sure we can do an SG NOG as well. But we thought that the risks were a bit too great. The uncertainties were also too much, because the rules are always changing. Movement and crowd control restrictions were not fixed. Things change very rapidly, and the ongoing pandemic was too volatile. Even if Singapore was open, other countries may remain closed. So, and even we wanted to do a limited physical event with very few people and social distancing in place, I don't think that's the kind of experience we want, and it will not be fair to our sponsors as well. So we decided that, okay, we are not going to skip another year. We just wanted to keep the momentum going. So this SG 8 will be an online conference. So the biggest problem now that we probably need to be aware of is Zoom fatigue, which myself, I really am also very tired of having many Zoom sessions now. So I'm not sure how participants will feel about having another conference in Zoom. And of course, there's this issue of repeated presentations, because everybody is now online, Apricot and the various NOGs as well. We may see presentations repeated, and if you have watched the same conference, the same presentation at Apricot, I'm not sure you want to see again XG NOG. So previously we had physical distance to avoid all this, but now everybody is free to go online on Zoom, YouTube. So this is one of the challenges that we are facing. The next will also be due to sponsorship. Mainly because we actually had some companies and organizations who were very keen to sponsor SG NOG, even as early as late 2019. So this was a problem to us, because some have even made payment. So we thought that because this conference is not going to be a physical one, mileage should be very limited. So we thought that if anybody that decides to sponsor us for SG 8, you will receive your mileage in 2019, and of course in SG 8, we just briefly mentioned these people have sponsored us, like what you're doing in Apricot with the logos at the back of your wallpaper. So that's something that we can try for SG 8, and these people will receive their mileage in SG 9 when hopefully we can have a physical conference in 2022. Yeah. So I'll just move on to my very last slide. So I hope I am giving enough time for everybody. So we've opened the registration process. We have started calling for papers. Sponsorship is there as well. Please don't try to remember the page IDs here, it's too much. Just go to the SG NOG website and click through the links. If you want to chat with us, please look for us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or even emailing us is good too. So I think I'm done. Thank you, Masan and Aki. Back to you guys.
Thank you, bro. Next up will be Tainog. Thank you.
Okay, please, Songkran, could you go ahead first?
Yeah, สวัสดีครับ Okay, thank you, and glad to hear all the update from all the other NOGs as well. So for Thai NOG, I'm with Kun Kitinan. So for Thai NOG, we just start only not many years ago, so on the 18th May, and the target also quite similar to the others NOG as well. And main communication right now, we also have on the main line group contact, and we have not many members yet. So we start to have about hundreds, and also have contact to the mailing list, and the member is still about 187. And the main page, we have the activity that communicate with the other members. Now we do all the website to the Thai NOG and this website, and we have the group chat from the meeting in the past. And here what happened that we have past 5 meetings, and recently we have the one mostly the event participate from on the participant mainly in Bangkok. So for me, I'm from the southern of Thailand, so I rarely have the chance to participate. But now in the pandemic situation, now people get more used to on the Zoom and also give more chance to attend. Even for this time with the Zoom, I had the chance to attend the event easier right now. So I hope that we will have the momentum to give more people to access on the system. And so I will hand on the next event for what happened on the 1st March, that we have the Thai NOG meeting number 5. Please. This that we have the meeting, the number of the participants is start to grow, and this with the pandemic, we still quite stable, not reach the number nearly hundreds. And this participant we have in the past 2 events, and for the pandemic event, we have the chance to convince many people to participate on the networking at home event. So we start to join the event and have people have a good time on events. So have more people to participate with the activity. So we hope to get the Thai NOG growing in the number. Okay, Kun Kitinan.
I will. Okay, thank you, Kun Songkran. So I will give you an information about the last Thai NOG meeting. So the initiative about this meeting, because we didn't have the physical event in past year. So and we think that we have to do an online event with also the physical event. So this is the first try that we try to make it happen. So we try to build the event and platform last 2 days ago together with the APNIC. So we gathering the member from online and on-site to join the APNIC together. So we will talk more detail in the next slide. So we start with the recent internet topic that is about route hijacking. So people can share what they learn and what they see and try to participate and share the experience. So then we will enjoy the APNIC opening a POPs together. So we think that when the people can share the experience or have a question in local language, and everyone in the conference can share and type information or answer in local language, which we gain the participation from Thai, which I believe that they like it and they can like when we join Apricot. I often join with my friends so we can talk something together. I think so that will be benefit to all the group of people. So maybe we will share the picture of the event. Yeah, as you can see, we will have the chat and the question from the audience in Thai, in English as well. So people in the group can also help find the answer and share the experience in the room. And also we try to make the setup on the computer. This is because we have never done this kind of the event before. We try to live the event of the record, and then we will broadcast on another kind of meeting. So that is quite new and is working successfully for me. Yes, make it. So for the next event for Thailand, as I mentioned before, we don't have the event in the past year. So for this year, we plan to have the hybrid event on site and online also. So the tentative date is in the 14th May, and we are open for the paper and sponsorship for sure. So please feel free to submit the paper to the system. So that's it for Thailand. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So next up is TWNOG. Jack, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to share my screen.
Yes.
Here
you go.
Okay, thank you. So, hello everyone. My name is Jake from TWNOG, and I'd like to share what we did last year under COVID-19. And okay, first of all, we have a brand new NOG event website. It's twnog.tw, but it's only Mandarin. So if you like to get more event detail, you can just ask me for the English version. And the second one, we have a tremendous member increasing on our Facebook group. We get almost 900 members in our Facebook group. So I think thanks for our chair, William, to invite lots of people to join us. And here is one of our Line group. We use Line to share some event detail, and you can get more technical support or have a discussion with your provider right here in a Line, because usually in Taiwan, Line is one of the most popular social media app with each other. So we use Line at the first, but last year we use Telegram as a second one. And this one is most focused on our technical issue. That means you can get more technical discussion with providers or get more support with them. So right here, you can only discuss regarding do some troubleshooting with them. Okay, so we have 4 activities actually. The first one is networking from home, hosted by APNIC. And basically it's a virtual event, but we do it in physical. As you can see, we have only few people because of COVID-19, but we can still do it more to share some event detail. And the second one is we have a joint event. Our chair William had shared Taiwan parenting in HKNOG number 9, and as you can see, it's only go virtual, but we share some internet exchange tweaks information with them. Okay. And the third one is the year-end party. And thanks to our sponsors, that we can have a lot of fantastic dinner. But personally, I like to say this: bring your own beer event, because we do it. We do it pure and personal event with your own beers and cheer each other to share some information. So as everyone know, if you cheer with somebody, they have to tell you something truth. And here's some pictures. And the last one is our segment routing workshops. We limited it in 30 people only. That make it in quality, because we do a lot of hands-on lab, and as you can see right here, it's Tashi. So thanks, Tashi. You can maybe we can have more workshop to bring some new technical issue or some segment routing workshop again. And okay, TDOM number 5 is coming soon in Q4 this year, and I like to host another workshop before the end of 2021. So let's see. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. For the last one, let's call Warren to keep some words for PNG NOG. Warren.
Thank you. So with PNG NOG, we had some discussions with people in the PNG community at the end of 2019 about getting the PNG NOG started. Early 2020, we had some ongoing discussions about creating the PNG NOG, and they decided, with obviously COVID, not to have an event, but to have a hybrid event talking about what the PNG NOG could do for the community, and explain what the NOG was. So they had about 30 people attend that event, with the sponsorship being a data package, so that those people who weren't able to go to the venue could participate via virtual means. At that meeting on the 17th of June 2020, they talked about what the advantages are of NOG and what the concept of PNG NOG is for the community. Then they had some presentations from PNG IXP, an update from a representative of that, and Professor Cecilia Nimbu talked about PNG RNet and the project there. Then they asked for volunteers to go on the committee, and so they started organising the committee at this point. So there is no schedule. They're still in the planning phase, but it's moving along. Obviously, with COVID, there has been some stagnation with the organisation, but they're in the process of organising a charter and setting up a website. They do have a mailing list if you are interested in that, and I can put that in the chat window if you want more details. That's it.
Thanks, Warren. Yeah, please share what you have. And then next, before we go to the NOG boss, let's do the group photo. Can you turn on your videos and smile? Hold on, let's wait for the others.
Smile.
Yeah, there you go. Oops, Fred. Hey, time is time. Yep, let's wait for the others to turn up. So let's do one shot first. Okay, smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Waiting for the rest. We need to do a redundancy shot. All of you should know that.
Sure.
Okay.
We are on hot standby.
Yeah. Okay. One more. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Yeah, we're still missing Fred here. I think if you start going, I think we're good with that. So I turn this over to Mas again and Philip. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, all. So
Thank
now we are finishing the NOG update session, and now we are participating in the NOG BOF. So Philip, do you want to kickstart the session?
Yeah, well, let's just carry on. So. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's the same as we do in an in-person event. We just kind of finish the reports way after time and, and then do the BOF. But this is informal. I mean, it's still being recorded and it's still being streamed live on YouTube. But yeah, so this is definitely informal. So.
Then Philip, can you share some experiences from your side?
Experiences?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's important to have the online virtual event?
What's important for an online virtual event? Oh, there's so many things. Where to start? Need to have a reasonable internet connection. No, there's a whole lot of things. So I think some of the biggest issues that we've found in getting Apricot set up and working and so on, and it's the same that Tashi and Simon and I found for SANOG, is there's a definite difference in willingness for people to offer presentations and to actually build a program. And I think it was, I don't remember who said, I think it was Tan Xiaoyi that said the same thing, that there's a lot of, well, there is Zoom fatigue as well, but if you've seen a presentation at some NOG, then you're kind of unwilling to show it at any other NOG, and people are kind of unwilling to go and see it. And so one of the things that we did in the Apricot Program Committee was we ended up being very strict with some of the submissions that we were accepting, because if they'd been presented somewhere else before, then we're kind of, well, people can see that the recording is there, it's on YouTube and so on. So there's not really a great much advantage of showing it again, unless there's been a really big change or improvement. And some of the presentations have been those kind of improvements. So that's one interesting thing we've found from the program side. And again, from the PC point of view, people are willing to help out from the program side. But again, the day job is always there. And so there seems to be a different kind of urgency to help out produce things, because you don't have to go to bosses to get permission to travel. You don't have to set aside budget to do your travel. And so, not only with program committee, you see it with presenters as well. People seem to think that, oh, well, I can submit my slides or my presentation proposal 10 minutes before the presentation is due to happen. And what they don't realize is actually when you're preparing for something like this, you have to prepare a lot more and much further in advance. We saw that especially with appearing personals. And people were still knocking on Achi's door saying, hey, Achi, want to present appearing personal? And he was like, no, I'm already in the middle of the session. This is why we had a deadline last week. Oh, but that's too early. But I think a lot of the community don't realize that it takes a lot more work to prepare some of these things, that we actually have a nice, smooth flow. So that was another big learning thing. And I think the other thing that we've really learned in the last year of trying to do a lot of this is doing the workshops in the format that we've done them before at Apricot and SANOG and PACNOG and so on is incredibly hard work. Nobody really appreciates that unless you've done it yourself. Because you're sitting here, your participants, 20, 40 of them are sitting in random economies, in random time zones around the region. And, well, you don't know if they're even there. I mean, Zoom has got this wonderful calendar feature where it will automatically log you into the session that you need to go to. And it's always knock, knock, anybody at home type thing. So that's a very, very tough model to try and follow, unless the people are motivated to take part. And we've found in a lot of events is that they're doing the day job at the same time. And so that's what gets focused. And while the training course they're in is kind of, well, so that's why we just didn't do these workshops at Apricot, even though quite a few people said, oh, we want to do it. It takes 3 times longer to do the same content in the time that we had. So tutorial format was the way that worked. The RPKI tutorial was a heavily curated, managed. That's why it was, unless you're absolutely serious about doing this, it ain't happening. And I think, we've learned that up, in the last year, which is why we just didn't do this at Apricot. We know it was SANOG, we know it at PACNOG, that this kind of instructor-led thing is not going to work if everybody is remote. Other ones that have worked with other NOGs in other parts of the world is where you have local instructors and you can bring everybody together, but that's a very limited COVID type of, it depends on the COVID situation in that country. So here in Australia, there's basically no COVID-19 at all. The country is pretty much clear of it. Most Pacific is completely clear. New Zealand is mostly completely clear. So we don't have the issues of bringing people together, but many other places, they can't even bring a group together. And so it makes it very hard to do the remote instructor sitting reading a lot and the local one then supervising the class. Having the class together means they're not in the office with distractions. They're in a room where they have to focus on the content being given. So that was another learning. There are all these different, sorry, I'm going on, stop me when you're bored with this, but there's so many different video conference platforms. And, we use Zoom for this. And then we found people say, oh, why are you using Zoom? Why are you not using this? Or why are you not using that? Why not using the next thing? It's not because we're trying to promote Zoom, but I'm sorry, everybody else, Zoom is the only one with all its flaws and all the problems it has, but it's the only one that lets us really work in this type of style. There are many different other ones, but having worked through about 6 or 7 in the last year, I always find myself gravitating back to this because it has most of the features that we actually want to do to make a successful event. And, some people have the local Zoom breakout thing, keeping the software up to date, keeping all the client up to date, and so forth. When we're doing SANOG, we're actually gatewaying through a local proxy, and the software wasn't up to date. So everybody who had the new Zoom clients couldn't see anything that was going on. And that took a long time to figure that one out. We just had to get rid of the local proxy and go directly. So it's, let's say, Zoom is by no means perfect, but of all the options out there, it seems to be the better of all the options that we've had. Anyway, so that was some of the list of at least my NOG experiences and training and education experiences over the last year, and why we've made some of the decisions that we actually made for this particular Apricot. The last one, and this is a bit of a contentious one, is some people have said, oh, we should have had social, these social applications and so forth. But it's only a certain part of the community who wants to use these social applications. I'm not talking about the social event that we had the last 2 nights. I mean, the one hosted by PHNOG, it was a particular thing, all the DJs and tech last night. But it was just an app for people to go and chat. A lot of people can't really be bothered with that. We've already got 20 apps on our laptops and phones to go chatting with various things. We had the meeting tool. If you want to meet particular people, use that, then arrange. And so it's contentious. We'll get feedback saying, oh, why wasn't there a little social type of thing? And, it's not everybody wants that. We did Hoover last year, and, some loved it. A lot of people hated it. APAN used Hoover. Most people I know hated it as well, because it's, again, what works particularly for the community. And every economy has a different style of doing stuff. But we're trying to cover, we've had, 88 economies sign up for this Apricot, trying to get something that works for everybody. I don't know. Anyway, I will shut up.
Thank you very much. Yeah, actually, social is important. So I think we can have an event like a tutorial conferences. It's okay. We have several tools to do that, but we cannot extend the community or extend the human relationships nowadays. So I'm still thinking, or I'm still not sure how can we achieve that. Achi, so you had the PHNOG social on the Monday night. So do you have any idea or PHNOG way to achieve that?
Yeah, I mean, that's also a challenge for us, basically. I mean, where I'm coming from, we would always want to meet face to face, even by saying hi. Like when you're in the office or anybody, it's always a face to face thing. So when the pandemic came and you can't really go out and you only communicate using your phone, it's a big adjustment. So you try to really find a way how to get a feel or replicate what an actual social event or even like a normal meeting. At first, it didn't really work, but you kind of gotten used to it, and you have accepted that in some way that's gonna be how it's gonna be. So that's when we call it KKB, or it's like bring your own beer or something. At first, it doesn't make sense because you're just talking to someone and drinking your own. You're alone anyway. But eventually, you get used to it, and it became like the norm. And I'm not sure if that's gonna be going all the way through. One thing that hit us is also I'm not sure how you call it, Zoom fatigue or something. So at first you have like 30 or 40 people all the way, like every week you do that, and then eventually it doesn't make sense anymore. I drop out and it ends up just you and somebody else. So you always trying to find something new, then you always go back to zero because it doesn't work, and everybody will just say, I missed the social event, I missed blah blah blah. It's like we're locked up here. And so I don't think there's a definite answer for this one unless we really go back to physical or anything close to that. But we have to find a way or adjust if we want to do something. But one thing we did almost similar to a social is when we organized a lunch meeting. So you didn't have to make your own lunch. So we sent lunch to those who were part of the meeting, and it in some way it made it more like you're together because you didn't need to prepare something for you. You just delivered it. The only thing that didn't work was the timing of the delivery because it was to be lunchtime. Some got their lunch like in the afternoon already, so they were not eating when we were doing the meeting. But the idea, the concept was okay, and then after some time, you got bored and you're thinking of something else, and then you go back to how can we meet? So it's still a big question mark for us. The one we tried to pull off last time is, the other socials is something we thought of new. We check what the local community would like to have, and interactive games, the band, the raffle always comes up, and we try to see how will that fit in the socials. And I think in a way it was okay, but nothing really comparable to a physical one.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Tan Chao, SGNOG, we didn't have anything last year, but did you have any communication with other committee member or SGNOG community or?
Yes, we actually internally we did do a lot of meetings. I mean, nothing at all, as in there's nothing that's public facing, obviously. So, but internally we had a number of meetings, and a lot of things changed really very quickly because I think you may have read in news, Singapore was pretty much okay in January and February. People are still going on as the normal. Then things really crashed in March, with all the dormitory workers getting sick. And then, mask wearing became compulsory in very end of March. And then in April, we had our lockdown. So April to July is like May, June, July, 3 months only. And that was the end of SGNOG. Even if we wanted to do, plan for online one, it was a bit too late. So I think it's really the uncertainties that really made planning really very difficult and very tough. So that's why now, even today, we have some tennis tournament going on in Singapore last week. But I don't think we want to go that route because people will need to be swabbed before you attend the event. And then you are not allowed to cheer at the event. You can only clap, no yelling or anything like this. They are afraid that, whatever droplets or we spread COVID via the air, you see. So things are like this. I don't think it's what we want to see in physical events. So I thought we just do online. So yes, the team is still very much active, as in the background, but unfortunately we cannot do much.
That's good.
Yeah, either that or we get arrested by the police, and then you see us in the Straits Times and plastered all over the pages of the newspaper. Yeah, gatherings are restricted to 8 persons here in Singapore, by the way.
Thank you very much. By the way, I like the idea from the Thai NOG that gathering to see or watch the APNIC programming together and then have a comment on the local language. That's a good idea.
Yeah. I
Because
think so
there
too.
are
I
many
miss,
more online events, so you can participate together for that to enjoy the material.
Yeah, I miss the time that when I join a record, I join with friends and we can participate each other with the same content. And I think it's kind the season of when we join the event together is much more season in my thought, and we try to bring this to the community too, and we hope they enjoy this kind of event. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So how was the comment? Was there, is it good or?
Yeah. We would like to listen for the other comments about this.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Tashi, do you want to comment? Because I saw your face.
Oh, my son. Not really. Sorry. I came home and I just joined back again.
Welcome back.
Thank you. If I have anything, I'll raise my hand. Yeah.
Okay, sure. So if for the participant, if we want to comment or ask a question, please raise your hand. Then we can allow you to speak out or put in the chat or Q&A box.
And the other thing, of course, is if anybody wants to speak, I can promote you to a panelist, and you can join that way. We actually don't have the raise hand enabled here, so or you can use the Q&A box as Bedrika's just noted in the chat. There's quite a few other folks here involved, in some of the committees and so on with the NOG. So if anybody else is interested, just pop it in the Q&A and we can bring you onto the panel. Because it's meant to be an open session, but swapping this over from Zoom webinar to Zoom meeting, I said Zoom's not perfect. So it's, and to keep the flow and keep everybody else here, it's going to be, it's a lot of hassle. So, we'd like this to be a good discussion if anybody else wants to say anything.
In regards to the hybrid events, Archie, you mentioned about how you delivered the lunch to people. I actually attended an event and everyone got given a voucher. So it didn't matter where you were in the world, you got this voucher where you could do local ordering of a food and you all met at a particular time. And that was part of the sponsorship package. They said, we want to sponsor this virtual lunch. And the idea was that then you were eating together, but it didn't really work out too well, I don't think. A lot of people just signed up for the virtual, the voucher and didn't turn up for the event. In regards to the hybrid mode, I think that's going to be the way of the future. We're going to have a combination of virtual presence, so that way you got availability to all, but then from an interaction point of view, we still need that interaction, that human interaction. And with TW NOG, Jack, you could attest to this. It worked quite well. And Tashi, it was really good interaction, and it makes it, the more interaction you can have, the more dynamic the training becomes. which means that everyone benefits from that. It's not the problem when we first moved to the virtual delivery, it became chalk and talk. It's what I say is what you must do. There was no interaction. Trainers are not perfect. Zoom's not perfect. Virtual events are not perfect. We need that interaction to learn and to get better at things. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think it also depends where you are. We actually tried to do a hybrid thing during the page of last year. Unfortunately, when we read through like the policies on how to do it, it's a criminal offense if you try to get together. And if in case you get through it, you need to get the approvals of everybody. Like if a certain hotel will actually allow you, you get to get tested, etc., etc. So at the end, you skip it. So you go back to the non physical thing. And maybe for the new guys, it's unfortunate to them because like our community is really more of a physical, face-to-face, interactive way, and that's how you learn. But for those who just came in and starting, unfortunately, they have to deal with the virtual version of that one. And some may say, "Oh, so this is how you do it." It's not really, um, enticing, and they didn't actually get the picture of how we do it because they didn't become part of the physical interaction where the action actually happened. So it's kind of sad, and yeah, maybe I don't know still how to do it next time, or if there's even a next time soon, whatever the new normal is.
We got a comment from Chefu. Doing a hybrid NOGs will be great, but you do need someone experienced to take care of the AV and Zoom support. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes the voice level is different, and
yeah, it's especially the venue where participants are is very important, because certainly if you're doing the remote training or the hybrid style, what you often quite find, if there's only just somebody's laptop camera trying to get a perspective of the whole place, and then it's the how to position all this and what the locals are like. So yes, that has to be done properly, especially with the hybrid events.
Yeah, at Janog we had one hybrid event, and that time we had the expert luckily, so he can take care of the local AV. So we could take a question from the on-site and also from the Zoom side as well. So vice versa.
Well, the A part of it is especially important because that always seems to break more. I mean, video we can live without, but if the audio is, again, having one microphone in a room full of 20 people. I mean, we've seen all these clever devices. You can put in a big table and you can spin around and figure out who's speaking and so forth. Quite often forget that sort of fancy tech and just having sufficient mics around or somebody going around with a microphone, even, old school style, helps quite a bit.
Yeah. Just wanted to share something because there's no one from VNIX here in this group. When we did one hybrid session with them, it was very unique. They had 3 different locations as hybrid in Vietnam, and it was one NOG session, but 3 different locations where they were allowed to gather. They were gathered in a room, and even the tutorials that were delivered to them were 3 different rooms. So we actually had 3 different classes, but one delivery remotely. That was interesting. But again, it comes back to what Jehu, Masan, and Doc was just commenting about. The local setup matters a lot, I think, to do that. And TWNOC, Jack, if you want to share how you guys did that, I really like that. Finally, like Warren said, it's one thing to just do it for the sake of doing it. You get a tick box. Oh yeah, we did it. It's another to actually allow some form of interaction because I don't think we train people. I always say this: we discuss, share experiences, the good and the bad. So, Jack, I'm kind of volunteering you in.
Yeah, I'm right here. Okay, thank you, Tashi. Basically, we have a workshop, right, last year, and we do it physical in physical because basically we have a very few experience with the virtual event actually in Taiwan because COVID-19 is not take so many effect for that. So we do hands-on lab with only 30 people within a room. So we have no virtual event issues. We only set up online meeting with APNIC and do the network for the hands-on lab, right? So oh, by the way, we do it in 2 half day. So we only we only have a presentation in the morning and give them a lunch box, and after that finish that, and we have a discussion for the event on that day, and we can do some improvement tomorrow. So we can have lots of improvement next time maybe. So I think the only one question we have is the microphone. That's the exactly is very inconvenient for the participants because when we only have one and only one camera from the in the meeting room, right? So it's really tough to have a very nice quality with the cam and microphone to let participants ask questions. So I think the wiki page from Tashi, that means we can do some for the participant they can ask questions on the web and directly get the answer from the host or remotely by somebody. I think it's a quite good experience for us. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you very much. So should we finish the NOG both?
Manoj has his hand raised.
Can I share something, maybe?
Yes. I just wanted to add on what everyone is complimenting. So I think no one is talking about the time zone difference that comes with the online tutorial. Like we had issue with the time zone. We had Adley from APNIC delivering in Bhutan on the networking tools. So we only used to have him till the lunch break. After lunch break, we had to work on our own, and the next day we come back again and ask him questions. So that was again a problem, I feel. So yeah, so time zone is also something. I think the new normal, it has to be a hybrid, yes, but the instructor, they have to do a lot. They have to sacrifice time, maybe they sleep. So that is one challenge we face in Bhutan. I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Yes, it's how to get jet lag without traveling.
Yeah.
But, actually, even from Apricot's point of view, I mean, I think for us as a summit like this, if you look at the time zones we have to cover, we're all the way from +13, as in Samoa, all the way to, what are we, +6, so Pakistan, sorry, +5,
yeah,
4.5, 5, somewhere, whatever it is, Afghanistan. But we can't just say, oh well, this is us, because we have a large participation at Apricot coming from North America, and we have a large participation from Europe and Africa, and so it's like trying to pick the time. So at least from Philippine time zone, we start at 11 and we finish at whatever 4:15. But we've had to try and put all our European speakers in the afternoon hour time. We had to try and get all the North American ones in the morning. And some poor souls have, well, they said, no, we're fine. We can talk at 3 a.m. But having seen, some conferences where the presenter is at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, whether, they drink lots and lots of coffee and so forth, I think it's tough on people to try and do that. So, Manoj's point about time zone, it's really, really tough wherever. And, we just have to try and make best fit that we can. And I suppose in some sense, it should encourage folks within time zone to stand up and present rather than relying on the usual suspects from the usual places who are probably way out of time zone.
Thank you. Kitinan, do you want to comment something? Because I see you raise your hand.
Yeah, so maybe we will talk about the setup. Something, can I share some setup that we made 2 days ago? Hope it can I think it's quite working for our setup. Yeah, it's actually, so we run the meeting on 2 platforms. That we have 2 PC to join to 2 meetings platform, and then we have a little mixer to get the sound from the audience, from the on-site, and then we mix it together, and then we put it in each platform. Yeah, and a separate one is for joining the APNIC, and then putting in the another Zoom meeting. So that is quite work for our setup. That's it. The thing that we have done so far. Thank you.
Wow, well done.
Yep. It's quite small, but it works. Yeah.
Very impressive.
We've been like.
Yeah. Do we have a lightning talk slot for that?
There is one 10-minute slot left.
So we know now who's going to do that.
There is one 10-minute slot left. So if you want to talk about that, love to see it. Seriously.
That's a cue for you.
Yep.
Definitely. Yep.
Marsan, can I add something on time zone?
Sure.
Manoj's point. We try to schedule things on 3 different time zones when we do open tutorials. That means we stay back till 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. No problems. But the sad thing is when the effort is so much and you end up with 1 person or 2 people. So what I'm trying to say is, Manoj, I don't know how to put it, but even if we cater to a time zone, it doesn't seem to work, because your time zone could be your working hours. Your bosses might expect you to work. Some folks have said that to us, that can trainings be scheduled after office hours so that people can attend. So it's very difficult for folks to cater, because such a wide spectrum of need, right? The individual needs, organizational needs. So happy to listen to feedbacks, happy to please ping us offline on what might work, because like Doc said, this region is quite a UTC +4 all the way to, even Fred just mentioned, Tahiti and Cook Islands and others, because of which even the PACNOC tutorials we were delivering, we thought, let's do it on Monday, but Fred reminded, hey, it's Sunday for someone. All right, then let's not do Sunday. Let's pick a middle of the week so that it caters to all those for a PACNOC tutorial. So yeah, I mean, like, quite difficult to pick a sweet spot which fits people. But that's why I think for online, maybe instead of open, more targeted sessions might make sense, where the trainer is willing to work on that time zone, and the local host and participants guarantee a captive audience. We can't have a session where the prep work is same, whether it's 100 people attending or 1 person attending, the prep work is the same. If the local hosts who wants this targeted sessions can guarantee a captive audience, I think it works great, right? So a targeted session, I feel, might work better. just sharing last whole year of online delivery, some lessons learned. Thanks, Masang.
Thank you very much. So,
got another question. I've got another question for everybody here, and that's, what about the length of sessions? Because we've seen over the last year, some folks are trying to replicate the in-person event online, and you end up with 8 or 9 hours sitting in front of this screen. And what we've done deliberately at Apricot is kept it 4 one-hour sessions, because we know people fall asleep after 45 minutes. Well, I don't mean literally fall asleep, but they just lose attention. Any thoughts or any experiences with any other folks, trying to do their events? Have you shortened things or just tried to replicate online?
We shortened, and we have more break times during each talks.
I'll jump on that one. From my end, our end, basically, the length was a big challenge, because it's not about, partly it's about getting people to stay longer, but if you actually break it up on the next day, there's a big chance you lose a huge chunk of attendees. Apparently, like how we do it here is, although this is a virtual event, they still need to get the necessary approvals to attend that or skip work. Basically, they actually do two tasks at the same time. So attention span, we don't know what's happening as well. But after attending a lot of online events, it seems that a shorter time frame actually works. Not because it's good for attention span, but maybe because of the Zoom fatigue as well. Several meetings that's happening, not just conference, but day to day that you do in work. So it's I don't think there's a really perfect answer for this one. We would need to play by ear on how to do this, like moving forward. But the shorter thing, in a way, actually would work for us.
I mean, Dinesh is commenting in the chat that, length of sessions has to be shorter because the mental bandwidth required to sit in front of a screen and concentrate is very high. People feel more exhausted and so forth. So that seems to be a general common theme. I think we know that. But, it's trying to balance that with, as you were saying, actually getting time out from the day job as well. And it's, I have no real answer for that at all. But I know just sitting if it's a conference replicated for 8 hours, you're not going to find me there. I cannot, not anymore.
I agree, Doc. And for us, we learned it the hard way. Tried to replicate what we did in face-to-face, didn't work, shortened it down to, let's say, a half-day session or 2 90-minute session. The sessions were longer now based on Warren's tweak, trying to break it into an hour session, keeping it short, quick breaks, short breaks, not longer breaks, short breaks where people can stretch, grab a glass of water, tea, coffee. 10-15 minutes break seems to work quite well. But the longer ones, difficult for instructors, difficult for participants, everyone, because for the instructor or the folks delivering speakers, you're talking to a screen, like it or not. Can't see people's reactions that well. Don't know whether you go a bit granular or you just do overviews, so can't read people's reactions. Quite a learning phase for everyone, I guess. Yeah.
But also, it's hard to the organizer side to focus on the streaming, then the materials, and then voicing, and etc. So it must be shortened, and also break time that's important to recover, and then also to prepare for the next session.
I've just noticed a question in the Zoom chat. Right, we also try to cater for more discussion time rather than filling the time of presentations. What is your experience with that? I've attended quite a few different virtual events, and I don't mind the idea of the discussion process, and I've seen that done quite well. The problem is when the discussion just goes away from the content. That's where you start losing the attendees. So I think the way that it's happening at the moment, we're getting back and forth rather than being controlled by a particular person or going off topic, works well. In regards to discussion, I would like to see that happen, but some of our audience in the virtual environment, you call them by name, you call them in the chat window, they're just not there. And as Philip mentioned earlier, that they've probably just had a Zoom Outlook meeting and it's automatically joined and they're not really there. And some people join just to record the session on a spare laptop and they've got it somewhere in a cupboard somewhere. So they're not even there anyway. So sometimes the discussion just falls flat.
Yeah, and you know, it's been always talked about, well, you know, maybe more panel discussions would work better in this environment. But, you know, I think a real life panel discussion and one as a virtual event, it needs the same careful management, careful selection of who the panelists are. Otherwise, it heads off into the weeds as well, and people lose interest. So it's kind of hard to do. And, you know, I think the other issue with having a sort of wider discussion here is, I wouldn't say people are very shy, but certainly in this region, people are less likely to come forward. You know, in Europe, you know, anytime going to a RIPE meeting, there's always a very robust discussion in the room and the corridors and everywhere else. Whereas at APRICOT here, everybody's kind of more respectful. They don't want to be seen to asking questions that are out of order, if you like, or that would be questioning somebody who they would consider a superior and that type of thing. And it's just how it is here. And so we have to be a bit more careful about how we try and engage people to participate in things. And really in this region, I feel it more strongly than anywhere else probably, is that, you know, there's a strong desire to come back face to face. People want to meet each other face to face. Because of the certain shyness and, you know, less willingness for coming forwards and just fronting up to strangers or whatever to discuss things. It's a tricky one. It really is a tricky one.
Yeah, and adding to Doc's that point of the regional culture that we have. So we try out some new tools like, hey, here is a document where you can ask questions anonymously in case people have that pressure of being seen as stupid in front of your peers. Nobody wants to do that in case the question is not to the point. So some options, like in our tutorials, based on a colleague of ours, Jamie's suggestion, we implemented a shared document where people can type in anonymously questions. No one knows who typed it, but we answer that, and we also verbally try to answer that, both in the document or also verbally. So that way, at least people have that anonymity gives you a bit more of that confidence to ask questions. So trying out those tools, small tweaks.
Yeah, one of the pillars that we did to get the audience to stay are prices. So when we did the NOG locally, there was always, like, after a session, set of prices, and we look for a lot of sponsors to make sure maybe a lot or a big percentage of the audience would actually win. And the discussion with the sponsors, as well as, since this is a virtual event, you can choose if it's a voucher or a physical prize. If it's a physical prize, you need to deal with the logistics. We actually sorted it out, and the major winner in last year's event was, I think, a 55-inch TV, and they had it delivered in his house. So everybody, in a way, stayed. There was like some people that we lost throughout the session, but we still ended up with quite a huge number of attendees because they stayed throughout the event because of the raffle. I think it's maybe a cultural thing, depends on where you are, but that actually worked for us. The problem with that is people will expect more the next time, so you have to maybe you need to win a car or something, so that will not happen. That's something we're trying to figure out as well.
Apparently was a 55-inch television was the prize. I think most people would join any conference to win something like that.
Yeah. Even if it's 1 a.m. Yeah, actually, I'm joining in to your session.
I was actually surprised as well. Somebody gave that, but yeah, why not?
Hope you can deliver it to Bhutan.
I went to a Microsoft event and they gave away motorbike.
The sponsors were really generous at the time. Apparently because there was no event that actually happened, so we had to push through with the virtual NOG, and a lot of the guys chipped in.
We also had a similar kind of thing. We ended up giving the mobile vouchers, the data pack to the ones who wanted to attend. But ultimately, we knew that they were not from the IT field only. They just saw the ad somewhere and they thought that they will get free data pack, and that's how they came. And when they knew that they had to attend a full conference, it was like all alien language to them. So yes, there is always the other side of the coin in all this. And also because of all the problems stated by every one of you, we just decided to do the conference, which was just half day and not the tutorial, because we knew it would take more than 55-inch TV to for them to attend the full day conference and tutorial. So yeah, so that was small thing that happened in Bhutan. I just wanted to share with you.
Yeah, actually for SGNOG, the same thing happened, not just, also even for physical events as well. We held lucky draws throughout the event. And the good thing is that you don't need to a 55-inch TV in Singapore to keep people going. You just need to give them Raspberry Pi, and that's sufficient to keep them till the end of the conference. Yeah, anyway, 55 inch is too big to store in a HDB flat in Singapore. You may go blind actually looking at that.
At JANOG, we don't have such giveaways, but of course, at the sponsor booth, they distributed some gift. But during the conference, we focused on the material, and the talks should be something interesting for the participant. Then we can get the more participant for the discussion and the meetings. That's a way to go, I think. But there are several other customs and cultures, I think.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you there, Mats. If the contents are of interest, certainly the participants would stay. So there was a study made that, out of the 8 hours that people attend work, only 5 hours are effective, or 4 to 5 hours are effective. So we can correlate that to this change of environment, that the training that we used to do in 8 hours a day is actually equally matched with these 4 hours that we do in a day. And I think the real key player here is trainers. I'm sorry, it's a lot of pressure on the trainers, but they hold the key to how long our participant can stay on. And this is something, probably it's a new skill for trainers to start taking. Maybe you need to move around or things like that, or introduce discussion during the session, or even asking questions just to see, how attentive they are. But certainly, I think if the content is of interest, I haven't seen any of our participants move away. Maybe if they do move away, then they are in the wrong session. So, yeah, I think in the past once with Philip and Tashi, who's been with PACNOG, we try and keep it to 2 hours. And sometimes we stretch it and we see people stay for those who are interested. So it's something we can play around with, and I would like to really thank the trainers for the adaptation that they have to do with this new kind of
work that instead of talking and standing and looking at the crowd and being able to see outside, the looking to a screen and pretending that you have people there and looking at them. So I think it'll change over time. We just have to keep an open mind that this is now coming, and that we try and make use the best for this electronic means. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to add a small point. I'm not sure whether is it because the format has really changed. Like you see, versus a physical conference, we would like people obviously to stay until the end so that the last presenter doesn't get disadvantaged or looks bad, things like that. But I think maybe when we are doing things virtually, we can have to expect people who will want to come on and off from time to time. So maybe it might be beneficial to have more sessions in parallel, so that people can jump on through different sessions if they are interested in the other, or they go through halfway, they feel that, hey, maybe this second session is more interesting. And obviously some of us can multitask very well, and I have even opened 2 sessions at one time before. So that is something that is worth thinking about. So at least we don't last all the way until 6 p.m. in GMT +8, where we can condense it with having sessions in parallel. Yeah, just my thoughts.
Thank you. Wow, we have lots of discussion and interesting topics.
I think we could keep on going as well, but we probably should call it a night.
Yeah.
This session's been running for 2 hours and 25 minutes according to the screen here, so we probably should wrap
conclude
it up.
the session. So, Philip, can you make a last comment for this session?
What, me for last comment?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's good to have a good discussion like this with at least some of the NOG representatives who managed to hang on this late in the evening. But I think we've learned a lot of things in the last year. I think there are probably a lot of other things that we're going to learn as well. And as all the COVID-19 vaccines are rolled out in various parts, some things are going to start improving, at least for some folks. So, the hybrid event, it's oft talked about, probably been attempting to do some of those for the last 4 or 5 months. And I think those are going to become more of. I think the most important thing is, I know some of the NOGs have said, well, we didn't really do anything last year and there were circumstances and so forth. But I think what's most important is to keep the NOG going in some shape or form, even getting people together on a screen like this. Outside my working life, even some of the social groups I'm in, I was providing a Zoom facility for them just so that folks during lockdown, we couldn't go out for any reason, so they could at least the group could still meet again and talk. Being able to talk and meet colleagues online like this is way better than not talking to anybody at all. So I would say that's a very important thing to do. And I would encourage the NOGs that haven't managed to do anything in the last few months, maybe just organize something simple on Zoom. APNIC has a Zoom thing set up that NOGs can use. From Apricot's point of view, we've got a Zoom meeting that anybody is welcome to use as well. So facilities are certainly there, but for the NOGs that haven't been able to do something, I really encourage you, because it keeps your NOG visible in front of the rest of the community. And once we're able to start moving around a lot more, your NOG is in a good position to actually be able to do something as an in-person event. So that would be how I would like to conclude all this.
Thank you very much. So having that, so we are finishing this session. So Achi, do you want to take a?
Yes, I would suggest that because Fred is here, we missed him earlier, so you need to smile Fred. Okay.
So please turn on your camera.
Please turn on the camera again. Oh.
Ulsa, are you there?
Ulsa. Yep. There you go. Hey, one more.
Everybody.
Countdown. Please smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Hold on. We will need to do a backup shot. Of course. Last one. Oh, with the hand gestures, of course. Hey. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, good.
Right.
We're good. We'll share this.
Yep,
Thank you.
please. Thank you
All
very
right,
much, all.
everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
And thank you for the staff behind the NOG booth. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the staff here for staying so late.
Yes.
And well, see you all again tomorrow. Last day. Looking forward to it.
Yay.
お疲れ様です、everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
お疲れ様
Good
です。
night to everyone.
お疲れ様です、マスター。